In 1958, in a small lab at Oxford University, a biological revolution was born. A young scientist called John Gurdon cloned an animal from a single cell for the first time in history. Gurdon successfully transplanted the nuclei from tadpoles into egg cells to create an exact copy of a frog. Dozens of animal species have been cloned since Gurdon's breakthrough, from mice and rabbits to dogs, monkeys, and most famously sheep, when Dolly became the first animal to be cloned from an adult cell in 1996. But for some, that's not enough. Ever since Gurdon's first successful cloning back in 1958, scientists have marveled at the possibility of cloning humans. The enormity of this feat cannot be understated. To clone people, biologists face the challenge of harvesting precious human eggs and sustaining a healthy egg cell nucleus with the correct protein so it can survive and grow. In 2009, controversial Dr. Panayotis Zavos claimed to have implanted 11 cloned embryos into the wombs of 4 women. The pregnancies never took, and without enough satisfactory evidence, Zavos' work was dismissed as a publicity stunt. That same year, embryologist Severino Antinori went one step further when he claimed to have cloned 3 children. Antinori too was shunned for unethical practices and making false claims. But in 2013, a team of biologists led by Dr. Mitalipov in Oregon, USA, produced embryonic clones of a human being. After decades of failed attempts, science had finally committed the ultimate taboo. Using a technique called somatic cell nuclear transfer, biologists took the nuclei from human skin cells and transplanted them into eggs that had been stripped of their genetic material. The embryos weren't allowed to fully develop, but Mitalipov's experiment proved something monumental. Human cloning is, indeed, biologically possible. But some believe it's already happened. In 1995, scientists James Roble and Jose Cibelli transplanted some of Cibelli's cells into a cow's ovum to harvest stem cells. When the fertilized egg began to divide, Dr. Roble and Cibelli allowed the egg to reach the 32-cell stage before destroying it, which means that Cibelli's cloned embryo was close to becoming a fetus. Left to grow, Cibelli would have created his own lab-grown twin. Unbelievably, Roble and Cibelli's story only made it into a handful of newspapers. Some, like author Russ Kick, believe that because human cloning is such a contentious subject, the scientific community don't want to reveal that it's already happened. Even Dolly the sheep was over 6 months old when the scientists announced the successful cloning of her. But playing God is not without its consequences. Medically speaking, therapeutic cloning can provide new cells for organs, but religious and secular groups alike have criticized the procedure for its abuse of animal life and the frightening implications that it could have on society. For example, parents in mourning could be given the chance to clone their dead child to make them live again. Infertile or same-sex couples wanting genetic offspring might clone themselves as a form of fertility treatment. And if reproductive lines branch past first and second clone generations, then mistaken identity could become a serious issue. For anti-cloning activists, the good news is that current law prevents biologists from growing embryos after 9 days, so the human gene pool is safe, for now. But what is fascinating about our fear of human cloning is how much it parallels the hysteria that once surrounded in vitro fertilization. When the first test tube babies were born in the 1970s, people feared the lab-grown child. Today, 350,000 babies are born using assisted reproductive technology each year. As scientific methods improve and the concept of cloning is normalized, then perhaps one day human clones will be walking among us.
The most disturbing Disney secrets. The lack of mother characters. Most of the characters in Disney films have lost their mother.